Welcome, dear Thriver to Thriver TV, where you don't just learn about what narcissistic and toxic relationships are about, but how to heal for real from them. Today is all about that because we're going into creating thriving relationships, the quantum way part 2. And I really recommend, before listening to or reading about this on the blog, check out Creating Thriving Relationships in the Quantum Way Part 1, because that's going to set the foundation for you. We had a look at step 1, 2, and 3 there. Today, we're going to look at step 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so this next step of the journey that I want to talk about today to create happy, healthy, wholesome, workable relationships is pivotal, essential, and in my humble opinion, a centerpin that can't be missed, and often it is. This is about creating a relationship directly with True Source, the foundation of all your relationships. So let's look at making the leap from false sources back to True Source. If you've been enmeshed with narcissists, the reason is because you've been ensnared by false sources. Narcissists cannot exist in your life with all of their atrocious behavior unless you are somehow trauma bonded to them through some dependency to them. Now let's check out the part that narcissists play in this. Narcissists are an ego construct, and the acronym of ego is edging God out. Now, no matter how spiritual or religious a narcissist may profess to be, they're never going to humble themselves enough to believe in a divine consciousness, a higher mind, God's source creation, the organic well-being and life force that holds together all of the universe and the multiverses and all life force. Rather, the narcissist in their small, limited, angry, vengeful, controlling mind believes that he or she is God, the master controller of their personal universe. So therefore, a narcissist can't be a healthy source in your life because they're in dark competition with you. Their superiority makes you inferior. Their gain has to be your loss. You're an object to siphon out, to use, to manipulate, to bleed dry, so that they can prosper. Win-win does not compute with these people. As an adult, to go through narcissistic abuse, there is some belief within you that you need this person as your source of love, approval, survival, or security. And this means that there's parts of yourself that don't as yet feel healed up, safe, or solid. These parts are age-regressed parts or a past life part of you which feels helpless, small, powerless, and codependently attached to this person. You don't feel like a whole grown-up adult in your own body, no matter how capable and intelligent you are. Somehow you just don't feel like you've got options, opportunities, solutions, and access to inspiration, support, and miracle from the unlimited permutations of life outside of this person. Most definitely, this was a carry-on from your childhood, where you took on limiting beliefs from your parents or your caregivers, and maybe you suffered actual survival threats, or maybe you had everything done for you and you didn't feel like and weren't brought up to know your own power and self-generative capacity emotionally and practically. We can't get our caregivers to do it any differently. They had their own faulty programming and they did the best that they could with the resources that they had. But you can now connect to True Source and be filled with the programs, the beliefs, and all of the inner solidness that will give you calm and power. Exactly what you need to be full and then go forward, expand, and create for yourself. Soul alignment and filling can't be achieved logically, because this isn't of the mind, it's of the soul. A powerful way to achieve this is quantumly, with the inner soul energetic work. This work is the most effective way I know of to detach from narcissists and come home to source and yourself. Your true self is a fractal of source. And this doesn't just disconnect you from the attraction and the trauma bonds to narcissists, it makes them literally irrelevant in your life. Personally, despite being spiritual and believing in a higher power my entire life, even from a little child, it wasn't until I went quantum regarding healing my connection to true source that I became self-generative and a thriver, free of everything that narcissists represent and any damage that they previously inflicted on me. I've seen the same happen with countless people in our wonderful community. When you release and reverse the beliefs such as, Source has forsaken me, I'm cursed and punished by Source, others deserve love, abundance, support, prosperity, and I don't. If I don't go without and suffer, lack, and struggle, I can't be worthy of Source, and so many other limiting beliefs. There's some of the main ones. Please know, it's important to know this. You can use any word for your understanding of a higher power. You can use your deity. It doesn't matter. Okay? Now, if you're already a Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Program member, a NARP member, I can't recommend enough healing these faulty source programs with the Source Healing and Resolution module in your bonus modules. Or what you can do is you can use the goal setting module, which is another bonus module, and set the goal, I'm free to know my divine connection to Source as Source flowing through me as me. Source and I are one. Or if you're stuck with this stuff and it's really deep and painful for you, then I highly suggest joining me and other global thrivers in Thrive, where as a group together we're going to make epic progress with this. And then you can see your life start to soar, heal and prosper in ways that you never had access to before this time. And additionally, you're no longer going to be led into false connections with false people who seemed to be the answers to your prayer, but they ended up instead being the messenger of the parts of yourself that were not aligned with the nourishing and flourishing with the divine source of plenty yet. I stand in this truth. Literally nothing flows abundantly in your life until you return home to your connection to true source. And the repairs and the reversals of your life are epic, fast and stunning when you do. The spiritual compensation that starts to flow into your life is breathtaking, because what is yours by divine right when you come back home cannot be taken away, and it will unleash and multiply, and it does. Week 4 of Thrive is all about this piece. In previous Thrive events, what we discovered is the week 4 group healing that we did is so powerful, reconnecting people back to source, and so far reaching in effectiveness that even dedicated NARPers have used this as a regular go-to healing on their Teachable platform, which is one of the most important pieces they found in their vast super quantum toolkits. Okay, now let's have a look at the next step, which is how to be your source-filled self in the world. So it's one thing to come home to source, but how do you be in the world but not of the world, and do it safely as your true self? In week 5 of Thrive, we work determinedly on how to be your true self as yourself without having to hide out or dim your light ever again. And many people believe that this is impossible to do in a world of narcissistic predators, that you can't be a shining, loving, prosperous light without being a target to be attacked. This would be true if you didn't know how to have healthy boundary function. When you do, narcissists are as terrified as you, as a vampire is, of a bright light being turned on in a room. After healing your connection to source and all the good stuff, I teach you how to keep yourself safe from people who are after it without having to dim down, be fearful, or get defensive. Rather, now you can shift into a powerful position of being offensive rather than defensive. Defensive is dangerous because everything you're trying to hide and defend yourself from keeps smashing into your life, whereas offensive repels it and pushes it back. Because the power of your light is 1,000 times more powerful than the false power of darkness. So your personal evolution as a source self is to embody this and live the truth of this. And this means creating, expressing, and stating your personal boundaries, what you will and won't accept, who you will allow into your life time appropriately in healthy ways, and who you won't. You become an empowered, up-leveled self by identifying the traumas, the beliefs, and the limits that have not allowed you to stand at this impenetrable level of self-truth. In week 5, we dig out the fears of crap, which I talk about often, which is the fears of being criticized, rejected, abandoned, and punished if you speak up, lay boundaries, and create the truth of your life from the inside out. What will other people think are the fears? What will they do? How did you used to feel shameful, guilty, and even apologize for living as your authentic self? Who are you fearful of leaving behind as a result of ascending into your true self? You will learn in week 5 that your healthy boundary is a manifestation of your Thriver life as a result of your choices, and well-placed no's and yeses don't require anybody else to agree with your boundaries, which is one of the greatest false premises that stop us being able to lay boundaries. We think that person has got to agree with our truth. No, they don't. And if they don't, you have your answer. This is how you will identify, detach from, and remove manipulators from your life. Your boundaries only rely on you agreeing with them, no one else. I hope that can be a really big takeaway for you today, because it's massive. Then you will see how your life starts to fill with people who do agree with, respecting, and valuing you. You will discover how these stuck internal fears and insecurities have held you back. They've made you accept less than, and they've kept you stuck in disappointing and limiting cycles of life and continuing painful and toxic relationships. How has playing it safe, not wanting to piss off other people, kept you experiencing anything but feeling safe, powerful, and free to thrive in your life? And most of us have accepted these squirmy, fearful feelings and barriers of not speaking up, not laying boundaries. We've thought it's normal, and it's thought that it's the way that we need to operate. And even if you have realized that these deep inner barriers of trying to go along to get along have been holding you back, you may not have known how to find them, release them, and reverse them. That's where the quantum tool of quantum freedom healing comes into play, and you'll discover exactly how quickly and powerfully you'll go from fear into courage and be able to lay boundaries and therefore safely expand into your life with your light after working with week 5 information, protocols, and healing in Thrive. Now let's have a look at our next step, which is equally as important as every step up to now. And this is about looking at what are the patterns and programs that sabotage us. And this is what we look at in week 6 in Thrive. Investigating and knowing exactly what the triggers are and the feelings you experience when you start self-sabotaging. And starting to realize that we kind of have that kill switch within us just as you're about to break through, just as you're about to expand into a different trajectory of relationship with yourself, life, and others. What can happen is a self-sabotage trigger will go off. So we need to look at what are the ways that you're staying stuck and handing your power away. I used to have many, absolutely many. Would you like to break free from these patterns? Have you realized when you're on the cusp of breakthrough that this keeps happening to you? Think about your life, you'll see it. Self-sabotage occurs only because of one reason. Because we want to go forward, we want to get past the comfort zones. We know our desires, but we're just not able to do it. It occurs because of unhealed limiting beliefs and programs that are powerfully reactivating every time you try to go free from them. Most of them are deep survival programs that don't allow you to claim your light, progress, freedom, and true organic magnificence, which is who you really are. And the brilliant thing about the quantum way to heal is that we can easily find these core programs. We can release and program that without having to undergo decades of therapy to try to find them and shift them. We can just go straight to them, let them go, and bring in the light to replace them, moving into true self-function. So do you know yet how to energetically and quantumly address these limiting beliefs and traumas? Those of you working with quantum freedom healing, I hope that you've really realized this, that you can address these things that keep tripping you up and are keeping you handing your power away. And these are the things that haven't been allowing you to break free into your true self and your true life yet, which is, of course, exactly what you deeply desire that keeps calling you forth. So that's what we learn about in week 6, how to identify exactly what it is that's causing your self-sabotage trigger to go off, as well as how to remove the blocks and limits that are causing that to happen, and finally go free from self-sabotage. Can you imagine what it would be like to be able to get off Groundhog Day of sliding back into bad relationships, toxic habits and addictions, stinking thinking, procrastination, and giving up on your dreams all over again, just as you thought you were getting the inspiration to get towards them? Can you somehow sense that the reason why you can't settle with this and it doesn't sit well within you, and it's actually depressing, painful, and horrible to experience, is because it's a contradiction to your true self? It's not who you're coded to be. It's not the life you're meant to live. And when we understand on a quantum level that we're built of the same stuff as creation itself and the universe and the wave function as source, which is all the oneness of all that is, and that energy is always in the business of expanding and expressing itself and growing. And if we're not doing that, it feels wrong. It's wrong town. It's not what we're cellularly coded to do. So what I love about going quantum is it got me out of the stinking thinking and the head loop of trying to think my way out of that painful state of self, to be able to shift out of it and start moving into true self as my organic self. And that's what happens when you start working with your inner healing the quantum way. So check out Thrive. Okay, I'm going to put the link up for Thrive, and at the time of this video, we're in the last days of being able to enroll to be able to get epically involved in this super healing over 10 weeks, where you have the safety, guidance, comfort of your own home, and the ability to get together with our incredible global quantum community to heal in ways that is going to grant you the boost that you've probably been looking for, maybe your entire life. Also, please remember to like and subscribe and share this video with people who it could be helpful. I hope that it gave you some takeaways, some deep understanding, and understanding why maybe you haven't been able to break free and heal yet. Okay, so to finish off, you know how it goes. And this is how us thrivers go. Keep smiling, keep healing, and keep thriving, because truly, what else is there to do? All right, I'll talk to you guys soon. Lots of love. Bye-bye.